Well, we are so happy. It's going to be a great morning. It already is a beautiful morning. But we'll start like we normally do, where we talk about books. Do you have something that you've recently read, Molly?
I do, and I'm going to do something I normally don't. I know we've had a guest talk about this book in the last few months.
Oh, sure.
But I am, and I normally don't talk about a book till I'm done, but I am 3 hours from the end, and I feel like I have to talk about Kristin Hannah's The Women.
Yes,
And
I will always listen to that.
You know, I've heard mixed reviews on it, and so I went into it a little bit leery. I'm not a mixed review. I love this book. I absolutely love everything about this book. One of the things, I guess I was one of those kids raised on MASH. Like when you heard the music come on, you were supposed to go to bed, but instead we snuck behind the couch and watched with Dad. You know, I don't think we had to sneak. Dad didn't pay attention to what we were doing. So
Sure he was. He was just allowing you to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Mom's job. So, you know, that was my entire idea of what it looked like for like the entire Vietnam War for me was MASH. That was my education. I knew we had teachers. You know, I had a few teachers who'd served, but I really think this may be one of the first times I've read a book where somebody has really introduced me to the Vietnam War, the soldiers coming home, and the nurses that we never talked about, the women serving over there. And when they came back, how, you know, they weren't always recognized even as serving. And they had been through some of the worst combats.
Yeah.
They had been through some of those, you know, rough times. This is Kristin Hannah. I don't think I've read a book by her I haven't enjoyed. I love how she characterizes people. I love how she sets the stage, takes you to a place. You know, I definitely think I'm going to be looking for more books to read. You know, this is one perspective. I want more books on this, but this really makes this a raw situation. So, Kristin Hannah, you did it for me again. You opened my eyes. I thought I knew enough. I don't know enough. And I'm now ready to go read more, to do more. And that, to me, is a great book.
I feel like Kristin would say that that's a success then.
I think so. Did you listen to it or did you?
I listened.
I love the narration.
Audiobook narrators are really
It
wonderful.
was not over the top. It was, you know, but I do appreciate, I've heard mixed reviews on this. I think this book is full of difficult topics. This is not a light read. If you're in a dark place in your life, I'm not going to suggest this book to you. I'm probably not going to suggest any Kristin Hannah book.
That's right.
No, I don't think
right.
any of her books are particularly light. No.
But if you love those strong female characters, I think my favorite piece of this is the friendships. The other nurses she was in war with, that is like every time she gets low, it's that importance of female friendships. I've got those friends. You know, we don't have a ton of them in our lives, but I've got those friends who dig me out. Yeah. And I've never been in something like our character in this one. So everybody get out there. You know, if you're not in a dark place in your life, go read The Women. I think we all need to, you know, we still have vets from that time, and I think their story still needs heard. So, you know, shout out to my vet, Herb Nida, down in Chesapeake. Somebody's telling your story.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
That's really nice. Yes, I do. That is funny. I do think that most Kristin Hannah books kind of need to come with like a mental pre-warning.
Yeah.
Of like,
You need to be prepared to cry with her.
She's not just going to be heavy on one topic.
really do.
You're going to hit several things throughout.
right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But she makes the character so real. Like how else would you deal with something this? Like, she doesn't make it pretty because life sometimes isn't pretty.
Certainly not.
You know, there are beautiful moments within it. I love that there were beautiful moments even in the horror that was Vietnam. They were living. They were humans living there. But wow. Yeah. Everybody read The Women. That's my take. Normally,
listen to
I would
it.
have waited.
Yeah,
Listen to it.
yeah.
Yes. In fact, if I'm talking about a book, just
probably
assume
listen
I'm
to
saying
it.
it's a good listen.
Right.
Thao, I'm always interested in what authors are reading.
Yes. So
and it's okay if it's also, a picture book because of the phase of life you're in.
I am. Actually, I'm in a mother-daughter, grandmother book club right now. And it is the sweetest thing. We meet every week. We read Wildwood by Colin Malloy. So that's one of the books I'm reading.
Yeah.
But one of the ones I finished recently that I just adored, it's about a year old, I believe. It's The Artist and the Feast by Lucy Steeds. And I, of course, with my book coming out, I have been in art mode. I've been thinking about art. I've been reading art. And this is one of those novels that is just so pristine and so beautiful and transportive. It's set in the 1920s, and it's about a journalist who goes to a remote house in Provence so that he can profile this very bombastic and reclusive painter. Wow. But when he's there, he gets roped into being the subject of a painting. And so he stays for this long, hot, very passionate summer, because also in this house in Provence is the niece of the artist, who is an enigmatic, very sort of beautiful and distant woman. So the three of them are living in this home, this cluttered home of this artist, and they are circling each other. And we get some cameos from some of the elite of the 1920s intellectual movement. We get, Fitzgerald comes in and sort of, and so it is this book that feels incredibly alive in much the same way you were talking about with Kristin Hanna's historical fiction. But it also delves into some very deep topics about who an artist is, who is allowed to claim the title of an artist, and what is sacrificed in the making of an artist. Because it's not just the individuals, the things they give up and the things they claim for themselves. It's about the people around them and sort of the turmoil and the tempestuousness that can come with greatness. And at the end of the book, there's this wonderful twist. Of course, I will not spoil it for anybody.
Oh, thank you.
But it makes the book sort of peel back the layers of history in a way that's extremely illuminating and captivating and propulsive.
I can listen to you talk about books all day. Can you give us a title
Oh,
of that one?
my
So
goodness.
I can put it on hold
Yes,
right now?
it's Lucy Steeds, The Artist and the Feast.
That sounds amazing.
It's so good.
I
I
know,
bet
I
the
wanna put it
narration
on
is
my
beautiful
list,
too.
That I love.
You're going to love it.
I feel like we've just bonded over the narration.
Yes, that's exactly right. And I think for summer especially, what you want is a book where you can kind of armchair travel.
Yes.
And this is a really good one for that. Going to France in the summer, what could be better, really?
Nothing
And
could be
I just
better.
reserved it on Hoopla, so everybody get on there,
that's
both the print
wonderful.
and the audio.
Yes, and there's plenty of copies available if you reserve it online on our catalog
Oh,
too.
perfect.
So
There you go.
how wonderful!
You can start a book club with it.
Exactly. Well, I don't have a longer novel like both of you, but I do have a picture book. It is Sharon McMahon's We Are Mighty. This is the story of 12 ordinary Americans who did the next needed thing, illustrated by Susanna Chapman. And this is a companion book to her novel that came out about a year and a half ago called The Small and the Mighty. And so basically, if you read The Small and the Mighty and you thought, man, I would love for my kids to know about these wonderful people who changed America, then you have your opportunity now. So you can check it out from the library. You can buy it from Beanbag Books. You can take it home and tell your kids all about it. But what I love about a picture book version, even though my kids are a little bit older than picture book age, what I love about a picture book, especially for history, is, you really do get that kind of snapshot view of some of these really extraordinary people. You learn about Gouverneur Morris, who really was, crucial in the founding of our nation, but he's the name you've never heard of. You learn about Ida Lewis. You learn about Virginia Randolph, women and men who founded our national parks system, who started schools when schools were not made for people of color, people who just kind of progressed the country forward in a way that nobody else was really trying to do at the time, and they were relentless in their way of doing so. And so, yes, I would recommend We Are Mighty by Sharon McMahon. This is, again, the picture book version. It's great for all ages, and you don't have to read it in one sitting. This isn't the kind where you're going to sit down and, read the whole book for your kids before you go to bed. You're going to say, hey, tonight we're going to read about Ida B. Wells, or tonight we're going to read about Maria de Lopez. So it's going to be a great book for you. And you're probably going to want to keep this one. So probably going to want to go ahead and buy it.
The illustrations are beautiful.
They really
They're
are
so
gorgeous.
colorful.
Yes.
Yeah, Susanna Chapman does a really wonderful job. And if you follow any of Sharon McMahon's social media, she really dives deep into the behind the scenes for how she got everything exactly the way she wanted it.
Mm-hmm. The cover is gorgeous. I know you all can't see it, but it is this blue, and the women are just playing on the page.
Yeah. And she's not discriminative. There's some men in there too. So
yeah.
we all played roles. Yes. Well,
Miss Cotter, I got one.
Oh, you do?
I got one too.
What's going on, Mr. Mark?
I just finished James W. Clear's Atomic Habits, so I got that down. Yes, my new habit I'm working on is getting library books back on time. So it's going to take a little bit.
That's a good one.
I just started now. I decided I needed to go classic author, and I just started reading William Faulkner's As I Lay Dying.
Yes.
I've become a little bit obsessed. I never expected to be obsessed with this story. I'm like, oh, it's old school Mississippi back in 1920 or whatever, and the heck
Grandma
it is.
in the coffin.
Yeah,
Grandma in the coffin.
That was so fun. I
goodness.
love the different perspectives of each, of each character. I mean, and I know that's something that authors do more these days, but my understanding is back in that time when Faulkner wrote it, it wasn't really prevalent from that. Yeah. So it's really sort of earth-shattering. And God, the man puts together some amazing sentences.
I was going to say, the language, it's bar none.
I read that in high school, and I still have these, for me, it's just these images from that book that come up. The Appalachian part of me fell in love with this book. And I remember being the only kid in my high school class who loved it. That may have been the first sign I liked A Dark and Twisted Tale.
Aww, exactly.
I'm only up to page 55 because I'm reading it so slowly, just going back and forth.
Yeah, but you're
words.
chewing on it. Exactly.
Chewing on it. Yes, all right.
Mark, you're in for a real good read.
Yeah, I know. I understand the ending is something, is what I'm told here.
No spoilers on this show, though. We're a spoiler-free show.
All right.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Mark.
Yes.
I'm so glad you shared.
I'll report back.
All right. Well, we will take a quick break. On the other side, we'll come back with Thao Thai. We're going to talk about some events that you can attend here in the Delaware area, and her book being released on August 6th. So stay tuned. That's right. It's a beautiful summer day. We are having fun here in WDLR, my967.net. And did you like that, Mark?
I did. That was good.
Thank you.
It's very nice. I'm sorry.
Are we going to hear that back now on the video?
Yeah, right.
He's got the recording. But also in the studio this morning, we have Thao Thai. We are so excited to have you here. You have your new book in front of you, The Seekers of Deer Creek. It's coming out very soon, and we're so excited. Tell us about this book, and if our listeners don't know, your beautiful debut novel, Banyan Moon. So tell us, are they connected? What's the difference? What are we doing here?
Yes. So we are only a few days out now. It's out this coming Tuesday.
And
I'm
gosh.
just so excited. I feel like I've been waiting years for this. But no, it is not connected to Banyan Moon. It is a whole different story. And in some ways, it is more ambitious. There's a lot more sprawl, but I would say thematically, you'll see a few links here. So this book is about two sisters who grow up in the woods of the Midwest in Wisconsin. And they sort of have to fend for themselves in the tradition of children who are sort of left alone. And so with this comes a lot of imaginative richness. They find art within themselves. They find a way to not only survive, but thrive in the difficult circumstances they've been given. And then we meet them when they're grown-ups and when they're adult women and they are estranged, sadly. They've chosen two very different paths in life. Vivi is an art conservator, so she's really attuned to the minutia of things, and she thinks of life in terms of what things should look like. And she looks at the past, but she's utterly unwilling to look at her own past. And Kala is an artist. She's tempestuous. She's got a big personality, but she's also got her obsessions and her addictions that take her off the path of perhaps a healthy, well-balanced life. And so the two couldn't be more different, but they are thrown back together after their father's death, which is complicated in and of itself. And what unites them is this very mysterious painting by this a surrealist French, Asian, Vietnamese painter named K.P. Lee. And he disappeared in the 1930s. But his legacy sort of lives on through art history. And they find that their father was really obsessed with this one particular painting called Blue Mirror about two women who nobody has identified. So there's this mysterious painting, this painter who has disappeared, and their father who has nursed a long-term obsession with this. And so in the process of uncovering the mystery behind this painting and this painter, these sisters are thrown together and thrown throughout the world. So they go back to their alma mater in Chicago. They go to a French countryside estate. They go back to a house on the ravine in Vietnam where their father grew up. Yeah. And as they're combing through these different locations, they're also looking for these artifacts that tie everything together. And they're learning more and more that this painter is more connected to their life story and their legacy than they thought. So it is an art mystery, but it's also a sister story and a family saga that deals with grief and complicated inheritance and sort of the ways we are both seen and found in each other.
Oh, this sounds amazing.
I know.
You've already told me.
And the creative artist story. So when somebody writes about art, you've done some research. Can you tell us some of the things that influence some of the artists out there that have influenced some of this work?
Absolutely. So I was an art history student in my undergrad. So I've always been thinking about art in terms of its context, its history, the people and the mediums and the political machinations that sort of make the art world turn. And so I always knew I was going to write an art story sometime. And I'm really glad this was the one I chose. And so I was heavily influenced by the surrealists of the 1920s and 30s and beyond. And so I was studying Dali, of course, and Max Ernst and Leonora Carrington and Lenore Feeney, all these beautiful thinkers that were able to string that tie between the psychology of our inner lives and dreaming and the object, the art object, and bringing it to viewers. And I think the surrealists in particular were such an interesting group. They had big personalities. They were always, having affairs with one another and sort of behaving very badly. Yeah. And I think when you get a group of creatives behaving badly, that just makes for a really great plot.
It's a juicy story indeed.
Yeah, I would give anything to go back in time to a cocktail party with all of those surrealist artists in there together and all the mess they were making and the fun they were having at the same time.
I can only imagine. And the reason I think they capture our imagination so fully is because they really put themselves in their work. They put their preoccupations in their work. They put their cultural context too in light of some of these surrealist painters who came from a non-European tradition. And so it's really a rich area to explore. And I talked to so many people, including people at the Columbus Museum of Art, actually, curators and people who really work with the art firsthand. Yes. And I think that perspective is invaluable when we're thinking of how an art object gets to us as viewers. There's so many hands that are sort of laid upon a painting, a sculpture.
The cover of your book is absolutely beautiful. Just like in the fashion of surrealism and Dali, it feels like it's dripping. It feels like it's kind of oozing with character. Yes. And I know that you have a history of book design in your background. And so did you get to play some influence into this particular cover design?
My cover designer, Ploy Sarapont. She's done both of my covers, all three of my covers, actually. I also write romance novels under a pen name. So we've worked together for a long time, and she has the most incredible sensibility and the ability to sort of dip into a story and understand what matters about it and make it visually apparent. And so even though we exchange ideas in the beginning, and I sort of have proclivities as to what I like and what I tend to gravitate against, she is really lovely at bringing the image to life and understanding what it is that matters. And so this came out of that. And I think my favorite part of this cover is that there is a little bit of an old document kind of peeking through. And as you read the book, you'll find out that has a big significance in the plot and the propulsion of these sister stories. But what's interesting was that we went back and forth a lot about the image that is underneath the painting itself. You had to get sort of the character of the expression right. And so we went through a few of them, and it's these little details that really bring a book alive and make it feel like an art object of its own.
I feel like the cover is just as special of a journey as the writing of the book when it comes
really
to authors.
Special. Yes.
We would be remiss if we did not talk about your upcoming event with Beanbag Books. It's being promoted in partnership with the Friends of the Delaware County District Library, which is why our friend Nicole is here today as well, doing some extra promotion and publicity. It's coming up in a couple Fridays, just two, I think. Friday, August 14th at 7 o'clock at Beanbag Books. Tao will be there, and she'll be talking about The Seekers of Deer Creek, of course. She'll be chatting with Lee Martin, who is also wonderful as well. And this isn't the first time that you two have teamed up, is that right?
That's right. This is actually the third or fourth time. So he helped shepherd my debut novel. I recently was his conversation partner for his novel, The Evening Shades.
Yes.
And we've worked together on Friends of the Library events before. And he is also my former professor and mentor.
Yeah.
So I've admired him and his writing for so long. And actually, when I got into the Ohio State University's MFA program, Lee was the one to call me. And I still have that voicemail to this day. And that was, 15 years ago. But we've had a very meaningful friendship, and I can't wait to talk with him again. And Beanbag is one of my local bookstores, so I spend a lot of time there. And I'm excited to meet anyone who can pop in and see us that day.
Yes, it's going to be a great night. There are tickets available on sale. You can get them both on Beanbag's website as well as the Friends of the Library's website. Again, that's Friday, August 14th at 7 o'clock. Nicole, does the ticket come with the book? Yes. Oh, the ticket comes with the book. That is the best kind of a ticket.
Yes, and I'm happy to sign and dedicate any books for anyone who's there.
That is really, really wonderful.
We just need to go to the Friends of the Delaware County District Library website to get those tickets. Yes. Or beanbagbooks.com.
Those are all wonderful places. Thao, you have completely sold me on this novel. I'm in the middle of listening to Banyan Moon, and it is wonderful as well as a listen and as writing. Your writing is described over and over again as atmospheric and dreamy and just, this beautiful world. And you create like a pillow fort of a world that I just love living in. And I can't wait to read The Seekers of Deer Creek.
That's incredible. Well, I'm excited for you to go on this journey with these sisters.
Yes.
I am excited too.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah, start us in Wisconsin, and I'm just traveling the whole way with them.
I think that's again that summer armchair traveling. Nothing's better than that.
Yes,
and add a mystery to it too.
I know.
The idea of sisters playing in the woods too.
Yes.
That creativity that comes from just being together for hours out in the middle of nowhere.
Exactly.
Those are my favorite childhood memories with my sisters. Is being lost somewhere together.
I think it's that resourcefulness too. When all you have are your hands and the raw materials in front of you, you can come up with some very interesting things. In the book, the sisters do things like they carve things into tree trunks, and they break apart leaves and make them into mosaics of different landscapes that they want to travel to. And so there is this through line that you begin creating at a very young age, and we all begin creating, and some of us lose that along the way. So one of the things I hope this book can do for you is to unleash your inner artist, and so you can see yourself as a creator again.
I love it.
Get out there and play.
I love
Exactly.
it. Well, thank you to the Friends of the Library for getting us connected with Thao, and thank you to Beanbag Books for bringing her into town on August 14th. We'll be back again next week with another Off the Shelf, let's see what fun we can get into. But thank you, Thao, for joining us.
It's such a pleasure. Thank you.
And Molly and Mark and Nicole, of course. And until next week, we'll see you in the stacks.
Bye-bye.